What's your take on Joe Biden's first year?
Well, as one who was wounded in Vietnam, the number one thing for me was getting out of Afghanistan. 20 years, we should have left 20 years ago. So the economy is good. We got over 70% of the American people vaccinated. We got a long way to go. But the number one problem the president faces is the number, like 30 million plus Americans who have so far have not been vaccinated. They're the people causing the school closing, causing the economic expansion to slow up, and causing problems that we don't need. But the good thing is 70% are vaccinated.
To speak to a veteran today, speaking to you, but my goodness, didn't the scenes as we pulled out of Afghanistan remind you of the scenes when we pulled out of Vietnam? And since we'd been through Vietnam, could we not have expected better from Joe Biden?
Look at Churchill was a success story out of Dunkirk. Even though tens of thousands of people were captured, thousands were murdered, killed on the spot because they couldn't get out soon enough. President Biden put the greatest air evacuation in the history of the world. Over 130,000 people got out in 3 weeks, including a lot of British people with the British military. So it's a success story. If anybody thinks people don't die in a war, I think they better reevaluate. The fact is, over 20 years, thousands of Americans, probably hundreds of British, and certainly hundreds of thousands of Afghans died in that war. I'm glad we're out of there. The last thing we need, if Prime Minister Boris Johnson wants to send British troops back to Afghanistan, he'll be out of Downing Street before his next party.
We are pleased to be your allies, Bob. But as your allies, I think many of us were pretty shaken the other day when we saw Joe Biden really just fluffing his lines and apparently giving the come on to Putin to do some sort of incursion into Ukraine. Is the president now in a condition where he can face a press conference, let alone face a summit with Vladimir Putin?
No. Every president has had moments where the press says, oh, look, he didn't say it exactly right. President Reagan had that problem many times. Trump certainly had that problem. Look, the real issue of Ukraine is, I don't know why NATO at the Berlin walk-in down decided to expand east. We didn't need to do that. The best solution here is Ukraine to put out a statement. You know, we've decided we don't want to be part of NATO. And that could be the beginning of the end of this crisis. This is so absurd that we, NATO, have to go east. And Putin has not invaded Ukraine. Hopefully he doesn't. And what's going to happen if he does? The whole world's economy is going to collapse. So we got to just get that solved by Ukraine saying we don't want to be part of NATO. Simple solution.
Well, of course, it's up to Ukraine whether they do that or not. They're a sovereign nation, and I think we have to respect their right to make their own decisions. I think that's very important. But, Bob, you're very close to Joe Biden. Tell me, what do you put his ratings down to? You say to us that he's doing a good job. He was right to get out of Afghanistan. He himself acknowledged that there were difficulties with COVID and he maybe didn't act quickly enough. What do you put his ratings down to?
Well, I think the president, he was a great alternative to Trump, and mostly it was American women who put Biden in office because they just got tired of Trump. The thing about Biden is he's no Jack Kennedy, he's no Ronald Reagan, but he's stable and he's experienced and he understands the number one problem in America, like in Britain and many other countries, is COVID. And I'm very happy that I guess 500 million masks will be going out, 500 million tests will be going out. And the more we can get that distributed, we can keep our schools open, and Biden will do better. Remember, President Trump was always in the low 40s. I mean, President Trump never hit 50 as far as favorable rating. And this is a new year. Let's hope in America and in Britain that COVID-19 gets under control and we can get back to some kind of normalcy. That's where we all want to be.
Bob, you surely don't want to measure yourself against Donald Trump. President Biden promised to unite America, to bring Americans back together. Has he done that?
Politically, you cannot unite America. This country has always been divided. You know, that's why we had a civil war in the 1860s. The South wanted slaves. So politically, when Trump, I think, made it worse because he kept kind of talking about division, and that made it worse. And now we have people, thousands of people attacking our capital. We couldn't even protect our capital. I don't know what we think we're going to do with Ukraine. So it was important for President Biden to say that, and it is important for President Biden to continue saying that. But we're going to have division, and that's what a democracy is. You have division. I just hope we can quiet it down a little bit.
Bob, you talked about stability, and that's what we all want. Do you think the Biden presidency is stable? I'm afraid the president is looking pretty frail to me.
Compared to Reagan, he's looking pretty good.
You keep making comparisons, Bob.
The important thing is that the president gets up every day. There's no bring your own booze parties. There's stability in the White House. There is the military feels comfortable with this president. Veterans feel comfortable with this president. And overall, I think President Biden will do a lot better this year because of COVID-19, or at least more people getting vaccinated. And that's going to be a big help to keep our schools open and expand our jobs. You know, President Biden, under the economy of the first year, 7 million new jobs created in America, and there's 10 million jobs being advertised now. We can't find enough qualified people for the jobs.